Hello, ladies. I hope that you are all well, and I came with you with a very interesting graphic of what happens in our body on a monthly basis. All right, from the moment we have puberty until we have we are over the menopause. So pretty much a lengthy and a chunky good amount of our life we're gonna be suffering these ups and downs on hormonal changes across the month, and so therefore the changes that happens or the side effects that those changes will have in everything: mental health, body composition, energy levels, digestion, recovery, sleep, stress management, body image, literally everything. Honestly, everything that happens in our mind and our body is controlled by our sex hormones. And so I wanted to bring this up because although this is not new to me, and perhaps not new to those of you who have been longer with me, it's definitely a reoccurring thing that happens on the check-ins when I get to see those hate comments with regards to yourself, or those hate comments towards yourself. I pretty much very quickly know that you are facing this part of your period. And when you feel energized, strong, lean, defined, you control your appetite, you control your stress, you control your anxiety, everything seems rainbows and butterflies, very likely you're going to be in this part of your period. So I just quickly wanted to explain to you that every female has a period, of course, as long as you haven't been training hard enough or extremely hard so that you lose your period and then you get amenorrhea. But also the health of our hormones determines everything in our body. It is like that. And there are new studies that are coming more and more and more, especially to the medicine world, where in the past they just didn't know any of this because all the studies were done in male. At least the studies from fitness were done in male. And it's only, I don't know if you have seen on my Instagram, that I have been recently even more so passionate with my message to the world, that is, if you are a female, don't do stupid stuff because you're gonna be messing up your hormones, and if you mess up your hormones, forget about losing fat. Unfortunately, it is like that. Forget about losing fat. You will just be storing more visceral fat. Your body composition will not be displaying what you want your body composition to display. So I'm just going to quickly explain here briefly. This is the graphic. Not every female has a 28 days cycle of the period, but around that is kind of like the average day. The periods are also very unique to the individual, and not every single period is the same. Pretty much we can go through life experiencing different periods every time we have the period. And so my message to you will be on educating yourself. I'm quickly just going to explain you briefly. Here is where we get the menstrual cycle, so which is where we're bleeding in this phase and this phase. That is where we actually bleeding. That it takes about 7 days. Then the week after that is when we have the follicular phase. So we have 2 weeks of follicular phase where the estrogen, which is our main hormone that protects us from everything. It gives us the strength to deal with the stress. It makes us lean. It releases water retention. It helps us with digestion. It makes us feel beautiful in a mirror. It makes us feel sexy. All of that happens thanks to the estrogen. We start feeling amazing after our period. Then the second week we feel even better until we reach the peak of estrogen, and then it drops. At the same time, progesterone is downplaying here, very, very quiet on the 2 weeks that we feel amazing about ourselves, because progesterone is being quiet. And then suddenly estrogen drops, estradiol also drops, DHEA drops, and then boom, progesterone gets up and say, hey, you were having a lot of fun. Now I came to remind you the hard things about being a female. I'm going to give you water retention, I'm going to give you anxiety, I'm going to give you sleep disruption, I'm going to give you change of internal temperature, I'm going to give you impairment of recovering from training, I'm going to give you fatigue, I'm going to give you irritability, and I'm going to give you low moods. So yeah, and then again we have the period, and boom, the thing happens again, and we go into this rolling cycle, and it seems that we never understand why we feel like crazy humans. Here being super happy, here being super unhappy, here we feel with the stomach flat, here we feel with the stomach like a ball, here we feel like, oh my god, life is beautiful, here we feel like, oh my god, I just want to end my life, you know. So I was trapped in this cycle long time ago, and I'm still identifying myself. I do have a tracker of my period, because it was actually my ex-partner that told me, hey, but have you not realized that you feel like this every month, I used to hate myself. I just didn't want it to be alive. This week, I hate it. I used to hate it. I couldn't bear myself to look in the mirror. I hate how I was feeling at training. By then, I wasn't a coach, so I didn't know any of this. And so then I started to be super curious. I bought a book that is called The Period. I'm going to show you the book that I got because I have it up there. And I read the whole thing. I'm going to show you. 1 second. So I read this encyclopedia that is called The Woman's Book, Volume 1. I might get the Volume 2, by Lily McDonald's. And pretty much this man here was the only man that took the time to try to comprehend females' period and menstrual cycle. And he had such an in-depth study to then come to the conclusion that it is impossible to put a standard on a female's period because we all have different periods and we all have different periods every month. However, there are some guidelines that allows you to more or less identify what week of your period you are on and what you experience on any given week. For that reason, I have uploaded on the document part of your application this information that explains very detailed what happens at any given week of your period, knowing that we have a peak of estrogen here. This is what we call late follicular, before the luteal, and then here everything goes downhill. Literally everything goes downhill. And when we have the menopause, we no longer have this, unfortunately, which is what is protecting us. So this is why the healthier we get to menopause, the better, because otherwise everything is going to go downhill. Like cardiovascular health, body composition, bone density, muscle mass, prevention, everything just goes downhill. All right, but let's just go to the point. So I have added these onto your documents, which I'm going to be sending as well with this video, and I'm going to add the video in here. But I have also added a mini question on your weekly check-ins that allows you to identify what week of your period you are on, so you start making those connections in your head. And so when this time comes around and suddenly we are 1 pound or 2 pounds heavier, we don't lose our mind and we say, oh my god, nothing is working, I'm just going to throw the coaching to the bin, I'm just going to hate myself, I'm just going to starve myself. Because if you starve yourself in these 2 weeks, unfortunately you're just going to get worse, because in these 2 weeks our catabolic functions, meaning that the body's ability to eat itself, the muscle mass, gets higher. So here we are a lot anabolic and here we are a lot more catabolic. So it is not fair at all, because in here we're breaking down the hard work that we have done in here. And this is why it is so important that you listen to me, because I take the emotion away from what you experience it and I give you the knowledge. So pretty much what I want you to do after you watch this video is understand that we females have it really rough, but we have two main things. I am trying to fix this live because apologies. We females have it really rough, but the more familiar we are with those things, and you don't have to be like me. I like studying and I like eating books, especially about the topics that I enjoy, because I'm a massive introvert and a massive nerd. But you don't have to be like me, but at least just get to start to understand yourself, what happens on every single week of your period, so you can be a lot more self-compassion towards yourself. I, for example, know that if I'm feeling like I look in the mirror and I say, oh my god, who's that person, then I know that very likely I'm very close to my period, so I no longer lose my head over that. I, for example, had my period today. Last night I didn't sleep a bit. I do have a lot of bad relationship with insomnia, but then I know that when I have my period, I definitely would not sleep. So those are the little things that I want you to start getting familiar with, because the more you have understanding on this, the more self-compassion you can be with yourself. And if there are 2 weeks that we didn't make progress, whether that is on your fat loss journey or whatever that was, then understand that on those weeks, on these 2 weeks here, very likely if you're going through a fat loss process, very likely in these 2 weeks the fat loss is going to be jeopardized by the side effects of the water retention caused by the progesterone showing up. However, if you mess up what you were meant to be doing on those 2 weeks because you want to see fast results and you want to see the scale not going up, and you're so fixating over the scale of the weight, if you are like that, you will never get to see the results in here. So all I'm saying is, follow my advices in terms of training, recovery, nutrition, sleep, hydration, to keep optimal health and to keep our hormones as healthy as possible. If our hormones are healthy, we recover faster, we lose more fat, we get better body composition. So get studying yourself those topics. I am going to be sending you this information and I'm going to be saving this on the application. Is called Optimize Fitness and Wellbeing Across the Menstrual Cycle. Bye bye.